Welcome to this episode. Today we're going to discuss the incredible story of Queen Amanirenas, a Nubian queen who fiercely resisted and attacked the powerful invading Roman Empire's forces and held them to a standstill in Africa, leading to Roman retreat and calls for negotiations and compromise. In the annals of history, few tales are as gripping as that of Queen Amanirenas, whose bravery and tenacity left an indelible mark on the ancient world. This is not just a story of war, it's a story of resistance, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of freedom in Africa. Queen Amanirenas, a formidable leader of the Kingdom of Kush, challenged the might of Rome in a conflict that would become legendary. The Queen's campaign against the Romans is not only a tale of military strategy and fierce battles, but also a narrative of cultural pride and resistance against foreign domination. This video will explore the life and legacy of Queen Amanirenas, focusing on her tormenting of the Romans, the broader context of Roman-Kushite relations, and the lasting impact of her defiance on history. Before delving into the conflict between Queen Amanirenas and the Romans, it is essential to understand the Kingdom of Kush's historical and cultural background. Located to the south of ancient Egypt in what is now modern-day Sudan, Kush was a powerful and prosperous kingdom that thrived for thousands of years if we include its earlier synonym, Taseti, which preceded Egypt by several generations at least. The Kushites had their capital at Meroe, a city known for its wealth, monumental architecture, and as a centre of iron production. The kingdom's strategic position along the Nile River allowed it to control trade routes and accumulate significant wealth, making it a formidable regional power. The Kushites were culturally and politically connected to Egypt and shared similar customs, religion, and art. The Kushite rulers even ruled over Egypt for over 100 years during the 25th dynasty, directly from Meroe, marking a period of Nubian dominance in Egyptian history. This legacy of power and influence set the stage for the Kushite interactions with other empires, including Rome. By the 1st century BCE, Rome had become a virtually unstoppable force, expanding its territories across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. In 30 BC, after the defeat of Mark Antony and Cleopatra, Egypt became a Roman province. This expansion brought the Roman Empire into direct contact with the Kingdom of Kush, which was extremely uncomfortable with the presence of Rome in Africa, and set the stage for a conflict that would test the might of both powers. The Romans, confident in their military prowess, seriously underestimated the Kushites' military capacity and resolve. The Romans sought to extend their influence further south into Nubia, viewing the region as a potential source of wealth and resources, especially gold. However, they were soon met with fierce resistance from a leader who would not easily yield to foreign domination, Queen Amanirenas. Queen Amanirenas was a Kandake, often spelled Candace, a title given to the queens or queen mothers of Kush, who were known for their military and political leadership. Unlike the male-dominated societies of many ancient civilizations, Kush had a tradition of powerful male and female rulers who commanded armies and governed the state. Amanirenas was no exception. She was not only a queen, but also a warrior and a general who led her people into battle. Amanirenas' reign is believed to have begun around 40 BCE, and she quickly became a central figure in the resistance against Roman encroachment into Africa. She was described by historians as a courageous and resourceful leader, known for her tactical acumen and unyielding spirit. One of the most striking aspects of her leadership was her willingness to confront the Romans directly, rather than merely defending her territory passively. The conflict between Queen Amanirenas and Rome erupted in the early years of Roman rule over Egypt. The precise reasons for the outbreak of hostilities are not entirely clear, but it is likely that Roman attempts to assert control over Nubia and impose taxation on the region provoked outrage in the proud, powerful kingdom of the Kushites. Amanirenas, recognizing the threat posed by Roman imperialism, decided to strike first, launching a campaign that would leave a lasting mark on Roman history. In 25 BCE, Queen Amanirenas led a daring raid into Roman-controlled Egypt. Her forces, consisted of Kushite warriors and archers, were well prepared and highly motivated. They captured several key cities in Egypt, including Syene, that's modern Aswan, and Philae, both important centers of Roman administration. The Kushites not only defeated the Roman garrisons, but also took many Roman prisoners, including high-ranking officials, and marched them back to Meroe in chains. What they did with them in the Kushite capital is best left to the imagination. One of the most symbolic acts of this Kushite campaign was the defacement of a bronze statue of Emperor Augustus, which was carried back to Meroe, the Kushite capital, as a victory trophy. This act of defiance was more than just a military triumph. It was a statement to the Romans that the Kushites would not be subjugated easily and would not tolerate Roman attempts to intimidate Africans on their own soil. Regarding the bronze statue of Emperor Augustus, the statue's head was buried beneath the entrance to a temple in Meroe, symbolizing the Kushite queen's disdain for Roman authority and her determination to protect her kingdom's sovereignty. The Roman response to Amanirenas' raid came a few years later in 23 BCE. Augustus dispatched Gaius Petronius, the Roman governor of Egypt, to lead a counter-offensive against the Kushites. Petronius' campaign initially met with success. He recaptured the lost territories and advanced into Kushite territory, even reaching as far as the holy city of Napata, another very important Kushite city. The city was sacked by the Romans, who looted their treasures in a vicious assault. Despite these setbacks, Queen Amanirenas and her people refused to surrender. The Kushites employed guerrilla tactics, harassing the Roman forces and making it difficult for them to maintain control over the occupied territories. And then, in retaliation and catching the Romans by total surprise, the queen left her throne in the capital city of Meroe and led the Kushites north to engage the Romans. The Kushite army crossed their southern border with Egypt, raided the cities and towns of southern Egypt, defeated Roman troops, and stood their ground in stalemate. Amanirenas' leadership during this period was crucial. She inspired her people to continue resisting and to not yield 1 inch to the Romans. The Kushite army held nearly all of southern Egypt for 1 year before the Romans eventually realized that maintaining any sort of control over Kush would be far more costly and challenging than they had anticipated. The fierce, determined resistance of the Kushites and the difficulty of supplying their troops in a distant and unfamiliar land all contributed to the Romans' decision to seek a negotiated settlement. In 21 BCE, a peace treaty was negotiated between the Roman Empire and the Kingdom of Kush, known as the Treaty of Samos. The terms of the treaty were remarkably favorable to the Kushites, considering the might of the Roman Empire. Under the agreement, the Romans withdrew from the territories they had captured in Nubia and agreed to establish a border at Maharaka, far to the north of Meroe. Additionally, the Roman requirement that the Kushites pay tribute to Rome was cancelled and abolished, a significant concession that underscored the effectiveness of Queen Amanirenas' resistance. The Treaty of Samos marked a significant victory for Queen Amanirenas and the Kingdom of Kush. It was a rare instance in which Rome, the dominant superpower of the time, was forced to negotiate on equal terms with a fiercely independent state. Queen Amanirenas' success in securing such favorable terms highlighted her skill as a diplomat as well as a warrior. The treaty ensured that the Romans would not dare to invade any other lands south of Egypt. This treaty was observed for the entirety of Roman rule over Egypt and kept them out of Kush and the rest of Africa for 600 years, until 641 AD, when they were finally driven out of the continent by invading Arab jihadists. Queen Amanirenas' defiance of Rome and her successful campaign against one of the most powerful empires in European history cemented her legacy as a symbol of resistance and courage. Her story has been celebrated in various forms, from ancient records to modern retellings, and she remains an enduring figure in the history of Nubia and Africa as a whole. Amanirenas' legacy extends beyond her military achievements. She represented the strength and resilience of the Kushite people, who maintained their cultural identity and political independence despite external pressures. Her leadership also challenged the traditional gender roles of her time, demonstrating that women could be just as effective as men in positions of power and influence. In the broader context of African history, Queen Amanirenas' story is a reminder of the continent's rich and diverse past, one that is often overlooked in mainstream narratives. Her resistance against Rome challenges the perception of Africa as a passive recipient of external influences and highlights the agency of African leaders in shaping their destinies. Queen Amanirenas' Tormented of the Romans is a story of defiance, courage, and strategic brilliance. Her successful campaign against one of history's powerful empires is a testament to the strength of the Kushite people and their determination to defend their sovereignty. Through her leadership, Amanirenas not only secured the independence of her kingdom, but also left a lasting legacy as a symbol of resistance against imperialism. The story of Queen Amanirenas serves as an inspiration for generations to come, reminding us that even the loftiest of empires can be challenged by those who refuse to submit to tyranny. Her legacy lives on in the annals of history, a powerful reminder of the enduring human spirit and the unyielding pursuit of freedom and justice. Thanks for watching this episode. Do remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and look out for the next one on Africa's Great Civilizations.